graduated from Dubai about 2 years ago. And last week I presented about sort of my struggle to figure out what I want to do after college. So this is sort of a common story for young men and women. We don't really know what to do. So, but I hope that my struggles, that you can relate to them, hopefully be encouraged. Today I want to talk about 1 year that I spent in Cyprus. So my presentation is titled The Cyprus Story. And I would like to make this story a story of encouragement, a story of vision and hope for many of you, because although I'm sharing these stories based on times when I was in trouble, times of depression, despair, but when I looked up and tried to understand these things and interpret these things from God's point of view, I realized there is a wonderful story actually. It's a funny story too, I mean, but it's also a compelling story, I thought. So I hope and pray that you will mutually be encouraged by this presentation. So I guess I would like to share one verse. Is it? So Genesis 12:2. If you guys can read along with me, let's go.
Now I will make of you a great nation, and I'll bless you and make your name great, so that you will be a blessing.
I was debating if I should use this verse or maybe Romans 8:28, which many people like. It's a verse that's very encouraging. It says God has a good plan for all of you. But my name is Abraham, so my parents named me because they wanted me to be a blessing, just like Father Abraham. So, okay, so first I'd like to share about God who opens doors and closes doors. I went to stay in Moscow for master's program. That's where I left off. I tried very hard to get in there. First of all, I thought it was a walk-in place because all the criteria was just perfect fit for me. And I thought I was 100% in. I didn't make it. I did not give up. My father, he's a man of faith, so we tried together. We prayed and we really knocked on the door as hard as we could. Basically broke the door. Because this is what we did. For 1 week, I remember calling throughout the whole week. I was on the phone with the Ministry of Education in Russia. I was debating, reasoning with the admissions committee in high school economics. I basically stopped one administrator because she wouldn't answer the phone. And we even contemplated to buy some flowers and to really kneel before her so that she would change her mind. I did everything I could basically to get into the school, but to no avail. I was in despair, and I was very shocked because for my whole entire life that I lived in Russia, I hated Russia because they didn't like me. They always discriminated me. And now for once, I was happy to be in Russia. I wanted to stick around, and I couldn't understand why God wouldn't open the door for me. But I did before high school economics. I did apply to the school in Cyprus, and surprisingly, they just gave me an admissions offer letter within a few days. No questions, no conditions, just straight up open letter. So I realized, God opens doors and God closes doors. This one, they were just welcoming me with open arms. So how did I even find out about the school in Cyprus? Now I would like to talk about God who is sovereign. When I was in Russia, even though I grew up there my whole life, I lived on a visa. I visited there sometimes on a tourist visa, sometimes on a business visa. And even this time, I was on a business visa. So after 3 months, I had to go somewhere abroad. I was going to go to Finland, but my father told me, why don't you go to Ukraine? I went to Ukraine I was going to visit one chapter, but I was like, heck, I'm in Ukraine, so I'll visit all the churches there. So I visited all churches, and I met this guy. This one encounter really that opened the door for me. His name is Joseph Kim. He is a pastor's kid of pastor in Ukraine. And he was a student in Cyprus. So, of course, I didn't want to go, but that's how I even got to know about this place. And actually, it's a very interesting sort of a fate for both of us, because in 1991, both of us flew on the same airplane along with our parents to go to missionaries. My parents were going to Russia, their parents were going to Ukraine. So we met for the first time in 22 years. And it was very ironic, very interesting that God somehow has a plan, really, even when I don't see it. And so when I came to the US, I came with the American dream. So I was very ambitious. But now going to Cyprus, I really let go of everything. I was humble, and I really kneeled before God and asked Him, whatever it is, I don't know, but please help me to really be a prophet for you, participate in your history, in whatever capacity it is. So my prayer was, help me not to defile your name among Muslims. That was my prayer. It was not like change the world or change the nation. It was very simple. And my father told me right before I was going to leave, he told me, you don't deserve to be a missionary, because I wanted to go up there this time with the lofty title of missionary. But by God's grace, no one is adequate, but by God's grace, all of us can share what God has given us. So, so I went there as a missionary in Abraham, and my father really stressed one thing. You take care of yourself. You learn how to take care of yourself, because you're going to a desert, and deserts are a good place for us people to grow spiritually. So we made a contract. I signed on the contract, and these were the 4 conditions that we asked me to do. First, exercise. Second, write weekly meditations on scripture. Pray daily for 30 minutes. And finally, widen your heart. Don't be prejudiced against people. Don't be stingy. Widen your heart. Of course, I didn't live up to the contract, but I did learn many things in Cyprus. And there's 2 things that I would like to thank God. Firstly, I learned to appreciate the things that I have and the things that God had given me. Champagne, I used to make fun of Champagne that it's the middle of nowhere. But when I went to Cyprus, I realized Cyprus is middle of nowhere. Champagne has everything. So when I came back in a year, I felt like I was back in the civilization. That's how the contrast is big. So for the education, for the friends, especially mentors and God servants, even the smallest things, like the fact that we have meetings where I can listen to somebody speak about God. I was so happy, because none of that was in Cyprus. Second thing that I was really thankful to God was, although it was not really my will completely, or my plan, that somehow, in a little way, in a humble way, in Cyprus, I was able to do student ministry. I thought it was Spurgeon, for example, the pastor. He started pastoring at age 18. Mark Driscoll, he planted the church when he was 25. But nowadays, I feel like the young generation, we become the kid adults. We don't know what we want to do. We end up not really doing anything. And so I was very happy. I was grateful that during my 20-somethings, I was able to contribute the smallest way I could in God's history. So let's roll the clip. Let's decide this. And I was mesmerized because, I didn't make it to anything. I felt very inadequate. And look, God gave me a gift. I'm in a vacation resort place, island in the Mediterranean, and I had a new opportunity to study. For people that don't know Cyprus, it's an island that looks like a unicorn in the middle of the Mediterranean, 65 kilometers south of Turkish mainland. Sadly, much like Korean peninsula, it's also divided. It's a very beautiful nature, but there's barbed wires everywhere. There's posts because in 1974 there was a civil war. Now there's two countries. There's Northern Cyprus, where I'm studying, and the Republic of Cyprus, that most people know of. Okay, so I'm studying at Middle Eastern University. This is the campus. This university started 8 years ago, and the main campus is in Ankara, Turkey, and it's considered to be sort of the best school in the Middle East. Okay, so this is the Bible Club. This is in October 27th when my parents visited. You can see mostly it's Africans, because many African students come from Africa. Because the education in Africa is not as good as it is in Cyprus. And education is actually very affordable, so the people that can't come to Europe or US, they go here. This is a picture of the first Christmas service that we had. It was very striking because we had Christmas 200 miles northwest from Bethlehem, 200 miles. And about 40 people came. Friends of friends came, a lot of people came, and this is my friend here, Iraqi, he's from Iraq. His father served in prison for 8 years, so I mean, this group of people is very different. Their experiences are different, their perspectives are very different. This is Iran, he's from Iran, and they are all British. We have one mentor here, his name is Daniel, he's a diplomat in the Greek side. Really supportive of us. So let me just conclude by telling you a little bit about Metu, the school that I'm attending. It's about 3,000 people, mostly Turkish, and yeah, the Turkish people, they don't know the gospel. So I have not met a single Turkish person on campus or even in mainland that believes in the gospel. So I'm in a very hostile environment. This is culturally Muslim place, so I wake up all the time to the mosque, singing, I don't know, technical term for that. But there are international students, and myself and Joseph, we are running a humble Bible club. So we meet every Friday for Bible study. We we have service on Saturday, and we do devotions during prayers. So, yeah, isn't this a wonderful thing? Like a turnaround from me being depressed and discouraged, and God has given me a great opportunity. So, thank you for having me again, and hope this presentation has given you a vision for those that seem to be in despair. It seems like God really has no plan. He really does. So on this note, to end, thank you for listening.